This, my friends, this is war. Well, according to the videos that I've just watched recently, which are To Be Serious, and Matt's video, and some other dude, Adama, the Atheist, or something like that. Anyway, I watched all three of them, and I found this pretty alarming, to be honest, because essentially the ID proponents have moved away from the concept of evolution. They're not just attacking that anymore, but now they're going to try and attack our science of consciousness. Now, I've not actually read the issue, and I'd really like to, because I'd like to know a bit more about this. Not only that, but the people who commentated on the issue, Clark, and you know, I'm not too much into the Judgelands, but yeah, Flanagan's okay. Right. So, I mean, there's kind of two issues up for debate here, and I'm not too sure which ones that they're attacking, but I'm gonna just guess it's both of them. Okay. The first one, which would be more intellectually honest thing to attack, is metaphysical and ontological assumptions about materialism itself. Now, in order to do this, you need to present a philosophical argument that doesn't contradict empirical evidence, that is sort of point, logical deduction, logical conclusion. It's sort of a force for force sort of thing in philosophical arguments, because most notably at the moment, philosophical, I think one definition of philosophy is it's something that can't be determined or verified through observation, through empirical evidence. So if they were attacking particular ontological and metaphysical assumptions about materialism, I think that would be the honest thing to do. And there are duelists in the philosophical community. Most notably, Saul Kripke, who is a logician. He's a pretty damn good logician as well. His dualism is rather nuanced. It's not this Elan Vital thing. It's to do with reference, proper names, and identity across modal worlds. So his is a constructive argument for a type of dualism that's not a substance dualism argument. He's not suggesting that there's any mind stuff, but he is suggesting that mind has a particular property. Anyway, that would be the honest thing to do. And the thing about attacking the metaphysical and ontological assumptions is, as long as it doesn't disagree with any empirical evidence, you're not attacking any empirical evidence either, if you know where I'm coming from with this. For example, a philosophical dualist, in certain senses, what they would do was accept that all of neurology is true. Well, all of the empirical facts that we've observed about neurology are true if the particular science is carried out in a good way, under certain conditions, etc., etc. So a philosophical dualist will not actually deny the particular things that we've discovered about neurology, but what they would say is that no matter how much we discover about neurology, there's still something left out. But no matter how much neurology you do, you can never answer it. And they'd have to put up a philosophical argument to say why this was the case. It would be similar to saying that Chalmers's hard problem means that dualism is inevitable, but the easy problems are solvable within neurology. That would be an honest intellectual position to take. I think it's wrong, I think it's dead wrong, but I think that would be honest. However, I don't think from the sounds of the video that that's what they're doing. What it seems like they're doing is they're denying that the neurological evidence makes any sense. What it seems like they're doing is they're calling into question empirical facts that we know and have used to a great success in neurology. And in fact, you know, the emotive looks at our particular brainwaves, which it seems to us as if we will something to happen. The emotive scans these brainwaves and makes your will manifest within a game environment. So, denying neurology, questioning the metaphysical and ontological assumptions of materialism is one thing. Rejecting what we've discovered about neurology is quite it's another thing entirely, and that seems to me like it's what they're doing. I find this sickening, to be honest. Like I said, you can put up a good argument, or you can put up a argument for why dualism trumps materialism or whatnot, but once you question neurology, bad science indeed. So anyway, just to finish off, I think I just wanted to say something to Matt. Right. There's a few claims that you make in the video. I know we've discussed these hundreds of times before, but one thing that the reason that pan-experientialism I don't think is a good bet. It's not a good bet at all, which you claim it is. You say that materialists have lopped off the idealist side of dualism, which is certainly true to a very, very large extent. But obviously the problems that materialism had when it was part of dualism, the incompleteness of it had to be developed on substantially, which it has been. Personally, I think because you say that there's two aspects to one universe, you're still kind of falling into the Cartesian trap. I think you're carrying around too much metaphysical baggage right here. And the reason I say this is because, again, let's just assume modal realism for 1 minute. What you would have to say, if they are indeed two different aspects of the same reality, what you would have to say is that, not what you'd have to say, what is implied if we assume modal realism is that there could be another possible world in which there was no phenomenological aspect to it, and as long as it obeyed the laws of physics, then it would behave the same physically. And if we accept that, well, how do we know that we're not living in one of those universes? I've said it before, but I think this criticism is really biting, to be honest, because we wouldn't, and that's the point. Now, the other claim that you've got for this is the first-person reference point of view. The experience itself is unquestioned. Now, in regards to experience, I think that's kind of solved with the problem of consciousness, but in regards to point of view and first-person reference, I think you're certainly right that some neurologists operating under materialist framework, Churchlands and to some extent Metzinger, they would have problems presenting why we have a first point of view in which we can make assertions on altogether. But that's not to say that this hasn't been thought about within a materialist philosophy. For example, Shoemaker, Perry, even some of the works of Wittgenstein demonstrate why first-person reference, the first-person indexical, is essential, and they do this within a materialist framework. Again, it's very nuanced, but there are particular solutions to first-person point of view which don't imply dualism, and they don't imply pan-experientialism, and they work perfectly fine within a materialistic framework. So I would suggest, if you don't buy this particular explanation, look into specifically first-person reference, look into all these nuances in first-person thought that aren't always covered in an issue on consciousness, because obviously philosophy of mind is so broad. You're going to have to look in a first-person thought, first-person reference material to find materialistic explanations for the problems that you've posed. Anyway, peace.